Alright. So we got a couple questions in so far. If you guys got any more, load them up. For the recording people, not many people on, so I'm going to try to go more in depth. We expect that as we go on, less people show up. We can go more in depth into questions. And it's also Friday night, so people might be out. Alright, from Tom. I'm not sure, Tom. I would ask that in the Facebook group. I don't have a ton of experience with vCracking. I've kind of just done testing with it. Mostly, still mess with PBN stuff. Um, but I would ask that in the Facebook group. From Tom. I'm not sure, Tom. Again, I would ask them about that. I am going out to their Network Empire event out in Arizona on from the 18th to the 24th. So I'll be learning kind of some of their stuff, and then I'll be playing with it, and of course, anything I ever test and play with, I pass on to you guys, whatever works. So that'll work in everyone's advantage. From Ted. Yeah, absolutely, Ted. I do it every day. Um, like there'll be sites that I haven't touched in like a year, and Mike will be like, "Hey, can you get this site ranking a little better again?" Like, go like drop to the second page. And of course, since a year ago, that's back when like long tail was working. So I'll just go in, I'll change the long tail to shorter term, and within a week it's ranking where it needs to be. Or maybe I have a site that that's not converting well, or it's just not doing as well as other niches would do. So I'll change out those links, or I'll delete the post, and I'll put them to something else. If I have a site that's in on the same topic, I can just switch those links. Or even a lot of times, in like the e-cigarettes, maybe I'll rank like a certain brand, and that brand doesn't do well, so I'll go and I'll switch that anchor text to another brand. I'll rank that brand, see how they do. So once you have the content up, I mean, you can just literally go in and just add in links, or take links out, or change links. Change the anchor text, whatever you want to do, and it works totally fine. I do it all the time. All right, so let me go back and see if we got. All right, we got some questions now. Good. A few more people starting to show up. So it looks like I'm not the only person that doesn't go out Fridays. Good evening, Anne. Let's see, Michael H. I haven't really noticed that, Michael. Does Nashville SEO have a local 7-pack with it? I don't think it does. No. How about Delaware? These are the two examples we have videos for. No. No, I've never experienced that, Michael. Could just be the niche you're in. Some niches it's weird. Videos seem to not rank as well in certain niches. Like I won't see any videos on the first few pages at all. I'm not sure what that's about, but from MA. What do you mean, which is the best video to get started with MA? If you're talking about my content or like you doing videos? If you're talking about our content, I would start with the orientation stuff. It seems like you're starting from the beginning. So I'll go through the orientation, then work your way through the supremacy section. From Michael H. You're probably not seeing most of our links, Michael. We block with Spider Spanker, and it doesn't always block OpenSite Explorer, but I believe most of them are blocked in there. I think we use like 7 blog network sites. And I've actually gone over the anchor text that we use for that, I think in a video in the members area. But I start with longer tail, like, best Nashville SEO company. Then I might do, top Nashville SEO agency. And then I'll move a little closer, Nashville SEO services. Then, I'll do the same thing, Nashville SEO companies. And then I might eventually hit Nashville SEO by itself. And that takes care of Nashville SEO, Nashville SEO companies, best Nashville SEO companies, Nashville SEO services. From Tom. I don't really use catch plugins anymore, Tom. They started like messing up my site, so I stopped using them a while ago. From Brian. Yeah, I think we're still trying to figure that out, Brian. I don't know why they get through sometimes. Even blocking the IP ranges, I'll have to get up with Todd on that. From Rich. I mean, Silo is just, you're organizing your site um, just by category. So, if you have like services.com, right? And you want to do a whole bunch of different services for like city and states, you're going to do, services.com, dentists, and then, it'd be state, city. Okay, so your silo would be dentist, because that's the topic. And then, the next one is, like Delaware dentist, and then Wilmington, Delaware dentist. Okay? Because this would change it. That would be Delaware, this would be dentist. All the cities in, I'm sorry, this would be Wilmington. All the cities in that state would go under that state. Okay? That's called a subcategory, and these are supporting pages. So, same thing, services.com, then maybe you want to do plumbers, that's your silo, and then whatever state, and then the cities in that state. Okay? So you would rank, like Delaware plumbers here for this URL. That would be Delaware, of course, instead of state. And then, like Wilmington, Delaware plumbers, you would rank this URL. Okay? Because that would be Delaware, that would be Wilmington, and it's, of course, in the plumber silo. I usually do mine manually, but some people like using vCracken. It depends how big the site is too, and what you're trying to do. But yeah, I cover that in a video on how to do it manually in the members area. Don't worry, I'll pass on stuff, Tom. We're working together to get that to people. What's up, Gregory? And yeah, all the time, Tom, as I just said. Definitely always change article titles. Not so much the titles. I don't worry too much about that. More, the anchor text and like the links. I very rarely use Webmaster Tools. I have it up for a few of my sites under my main account, but other than that, I don't use it much. Awesome, Gregory. Get your questions ready. Alright, from Michael H. Usually, link changes, you notice some kind of change within a few days, but not always. Lately, what I've noticed is like a little bit of movement, a little to a decent amount of movement within like a few days is average, and then it will continue to move a little bit over the next month, or it'll move a whole lot over like a month later all of a sudden. It changes from time to time, but I would say the average I see is movement within a few days and then more movement over the next month. Sometimes you'll get like a big boost like a month later. It's weird. That's average. It's not all the time. Sometimes it'll take a week to see a little movement. Sometimes it'll take a month to see movement, but that's rare. Usually it's a few days. You'll see movement, and then over the next month or so, it'll continue to move up a little bit. Sometimes a lot. Gregory. Yeah, I hear that one. Yeah, I usually have my son Friday nights. I'm going to be having him tomorrow night. Anthony. It depends how many you have, Anthony. Like, if it's just a few of them, you're probably alright changing them. If it's like four of them, I would probably change like two today, then maybe two over the next few days. If it's just one or two, you can change them. If it's just like two, you can change them both at once, I would say. For mine, like I have something I was promoting, like a certain term, and I literally use like 50 posts for, like a ton of posts, very competitive. And I'm now changing them all, and I change like two or three a day, and I've had no problem. From Ken. I mean, I'm more talking about this just to be safe. You know, a big change in traffic can be normal. There could be like press release out on it or news on the topic or anything like that. So it's not necessarily unnatural. I just try to keep it as safe as possible. When I can. For example, like waiting 2 weeks to link. You don't have to wait 2 weeks to link to a site, but I would say if there's a safer way, it is to wait. But you're usually fine linking right away. I just try to give the most safest way possible. So usually you can like bend the rules that I give, if that makes sense. From Gregory. I actually don't worry about my PBN links getting indexed. If they're coming from good sites, they're going to get indexed naturally. So I never worry about the indexing of my PBN links. I don't even really use Google XML sitemaps. I actually don't use it on my PBN sites anymore. They should be getting picked up naturally, Gregory. From Ted. Um, I mean, videos are sometimes they're just taking longer now. Like I'll link to a video and it's less likely to move right away than a website is. For some reason, it's been happening lately. I'll link to a video, and I'll see no movement for like a month, maybe even 2 months sometimes, and then all of a sudden it'll pop up out of nowhere. So just give video a little more time if you're ranking them. And yeah, I still have fiber gigs from over a year ago that I used from the guy that I recommend that are still ranking fine, like Insanity versus P90X video. It's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I haven't touched it in what's that, like 15 months. I just did that like 4 fiber gigs from that Seawork service guy. So, and they still work. You just got to switch up the anchor text a good amount. From Tom. Oh, no problem, Tom. Glad you got that figured out. I mean, services.com, I'm just saying is the domain name, MA. So, and I was just using that as an example, like, 'cause that's, if you have the domain name services.com, we could change that to, like, gregsresources.com, if that helps confuse you less. And then we would do, real estate, and then state, city. Okay, so that was just the domain name I was using, that's all. Just an example domain name, which I spelled wrong there. But yeah, I mean, you could have a brand site, gregsresources.com, then your service is here, or your topic, I should say, real estate, and then state, city. That's all I meant by that. From Tom. I do not have any experience with de-indexing. You could probably do a 301 redirect, Tom, where you can, well, I guess you're not trying to put a new page on there. You just want to get rid of the page totally. I mean, having the page there shouldn't hurt you. Um, but it depends what you're trying to do. Like if you have new pages you're trying to go to or what. Nah, I don't really use that, Tom. I'm not saying don't, but I just personally don't use it. From Bill. Not sure. I have had some people ask me why theirs isn't working, and I've looked at it and I couldn't figure it out. So I don't know if it's the plugin or if it's the themes people are using. So I'll have to look into that. From Gregory. Pretty slow for some reason, actually. I don't know why that is, but like for example, these links I've been changing. I just said, like I have about 50 posts for this one term I was going after. I've been removing them for like a month, and the site's still ranked like pretty much where it was before I started removing the links, removing them. So I don't know why it does that or how long it takes, but yeah, I see the same thing. From Rich. Yeah, yeah, you can send PBN links, or you can send yeah to send a link to the domain name. Yeah, absolutely, and that's the whole point. Send links from different PBNs. I mean, branded anchor text is just usually like the name of the site or like a URL link. That's branded anchor text. From Brian. All right, and we covered that one. All right, from Ken. Lots of vCracken questions. Yeah, I'm not sure what she talked about. But no, I wouldn't look at that as a red flag as we talked about earlier. It could be something maybe it was something in the news, maybe there was a press release out about it. Like you never like that's not necessarily unnatural, I don't think. From Michael. Oh, cool. Thank you. From Gregory. Oh yeah, for drop downs. From Tom. I mean, I would just take them out of the menu, whatever you don't want displayed out of the menu, Tom. You can delete the pages too if you want, and they'll eventually, disappear. But I wouldn't worry about speeding it up. Um, if you do new pages and you link to it, they're going to override the old ones eventually. It won't take that long, so I wouldn't worry about like getting pages de-indexed necessarily. There's only one more question, so I'll just read it until more come in. Michael asked, have you noticed significant impact using the vCracken strategy? I haven't used vCracken a ton, so I've tested with it a little bit, but I mostly do manual siloing when I need to. So I haven't tested with it that much. We are out of questions already, so I'm gonna give it a I'll give a couple minutes for some questions to roll in. Alright, here's someone's site that we can look at. Alright, from Pete, Weight Loss Clinics Orlando, Florida.com. Yeah, we've talked about this site before. I don't necessarily love how long the domain name is. It should work though, because I think you said it's ranking on the second page for some stuff. Let's see. Alright, there it is right there. It's 22. I don't know how many PBNs you've done, but let me go back. For the, would you ask about titles and anchor text? So I don't know like how many keywords you're trying to go after. Um, but this is such a small niche site. Like it's about weight loss clinics in Orlando, Florida. That's the name of the domain. So it's not like you can really expand into different topics on inner pages. So I would probably mostly target the home page for pretty much all my keywords because you can't really expand the inner pages for other keywords because I mean this is a one topic website. It's not like you can talk about dentist in Orlando, Florida. I mean you could, but it wouldn't make sense because of the domain name. So in this case, I would probably target the home page for all my keywords. Um, since you took care of weight loss clinics weight loss clinics Orlando, Florida, or Orlando FL actually in the domain name, I would probably do the title as like Orlando, Florida weight loss clinics. Maybe even like get like best in there. Like I would see what other people are searching. Let's see if it recommends anything down here. Alpha, medical. So if you're going after like any of these keywords as well, you can get those in the title. For example, like maybe if you see people are searching for like best Orlando, Florida weight loss clinics, I would put in best in here. And again, you already have weight loss clinics Orlando, Florida in there, so I would reverse that and just do like Orlando, Florida weight loss clinics. It's kind of like the reverse. And you have the abbreviation here, so I would spell out the whole Florida in your title. Let's actually copy this so it's easier to see. So here's the site name. Let's capitalize so we can get a better idea here. Alright, so you already got the abbreviation of Florida here, which is why I put it here. We already have this version, Weight Loss Clinics Orlando, Florida. So that's why I kind of switched around Orlando, Florida, Weight Loss Clinics, but I switched out FL for actual having Florida. That way we have the abbreviation in the domain name, then we have the full version in the title. And that'll help us rank better for both, okay? And then, of course, like I said, if you want to rank for like best Orlando weight loss clinics, that would help you right here, having best in there in the title. Or maybe you want like maybe you want to rank for medical weight loss clinics. You can put medical in there. That'll be ranked for medical weight loss clinics in Orlando. Orlando medical weight loss clinics. So it just depends what keywords you want to rank for. All right, what you would do with the title. For the anchor text, I would start with stuff like let's see. It depends how safe you want to play it. You could do like Orlando, Florida. That's like you can start with something really long term, like best Orlando, Florida weight loss clinics. You could do something like that because you're kind of getting your keywords in here, but you're varying what's in your URL. You know, you're adding best in, you're swapping FL for Florida, and you're switching stuff around. It's not weight loss clinics; it's Orlando weight loss clinics instead of weight loss clinics Orlando. So you can start with something like that, and then maybe go to like Orlando, Florida weight loss centers. Okay, so that's something you could do where you can replace clinics with a synonym. So you got Orlando, Florida weight loss centers instead of clinics. Then you could do maybe something like Orlando, Florida. This time the abbreviation, maybe weight loss programs. And then maybe like you can start going closer to the domain name, weight loss centers in Orlando. Okay, and you can do like weight loss clinics in Orlando. And we're just kind of moving closer and closer to your main keyword, which to your domain keyword. All right, so we want to stay away from having that exact anchor text for a little while, but we're kind of moving closer to it. And hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of how I would start this and see how it reacts and go from there. All right, from Gregory. I probably won't be Gregory. I haven't watched the video yet, but I'll watch it and I'll get the mic and let you know on that. So let's see some questions rolled in. Yeah, we did. Cool. And did that explanation of the domain name and anchor text kind of help everyone? Especially you, Pete. I'm just going to check the response on that. Alright, so let's go back to these questions. From Ira. I put them on different IPs, Ira, because if you got like a network, let's say you got 20 PBNs, you know, they're all on different IPs, that's great, but if you're using them all to link to different sites on the same IP, that's a major footprint. You know, you got these 20 sites, they're all linking to different sites, that's great, but all these different sites they're linking to are all on the same IP, and that could be a problem. So, from Tom. Nah, I don't see any problem with that, Tom. Oh, cool. You didn't use any PBNs to link to that site. Yeah, that's good, Pete. So you just got a kind of a breakdown of how I would start with your linking when you do. From Michael. Yeah, you can rank Web 2.0s with spam. I also rank them with PBNs. Sometimes a mixture from Rich. I don't do as much that type of local Rich. I know Jimmy's really good with that, and he covers that a little bit, I believe, in the training. But yeah, I mean, I guess that can be good for like the citations to get help ranking the local 7. And there's tools that you can use to do that for you. I think Jimmy lists them when he talks about it. From Ken. I mean, no follow. It's supposedly it gives no credit when it's linking out, but it kind of does give credit. It might not get as much. It does something different. I don't think anyone knows exactly what it does or how much it does, but I think they still help. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. Um, but even though it links no follow from a YouTube video, we still think it helps you kind of build authority. So let me go get Bill's full question. All right, from Bill. It doesn't have to have any of that in it, Bill. It can be BillWilliamsSite.com, and then a page on Montana murals or whatever it is. So it doesn't have to have it in the domain name. I mean, you can do that, but it doesn't have to have it in the domain name. You can just do a page on it. Do like a branded site. From Michael. Yeah, I mean they see it as different anchor text. Yeah. From Josh. I mean, not personally, but Jimmy's done it, and those are authority pages. So you can get away with, the same things you can get away with for, YouTube videos and Twitter accounts and Facebook pages, Weebly and all that stuff. From Nancy. I'm not sure, Nancy. I would email David Mills about that, david at omgmachines.com. Or you can post on the Facebook group, ask if anyone knows about it, if anyone heard about the pricing. Because I know quite a few of our members keep in touch with them pretty closely. Michael, I don't do that. Not in my content. I'll just do Dennis in Orlando. For my anchor text, I might eventually hit that if I need to. But I start with the natural stuff like, Orlando Dentist, Dentist in Orlando. And then if for some reason I can't get it to rank and I've used everything else, then I might hit it with Dentist Orlando somehow. So, but I won't have that in my actual text. I'll have Dentist in Orlando, like as my content. From Pete. If you have that many links, I can almost guarantee you it's penalized. I can go look at it really quick. OrlandoFitnessCenter.com. Yeah, most likely, if you have this many referring domains, and you're not ranking well, you're in trouble. Let's go see the qual. Let's go see the anchor text breakdown. Yeah, you got you're too high for like longer tail. Let me go see the link quality. Yeah, I would say this site would be hard to bring back. Definitely. You're probably better off starting a new site. But yeah, it can still rank well in Yahoo and Bing, but as far as getting it in Google, you can try to hit it with some PBNs, but I can almost guarantee you that it won't react well. From Gregory. I mean, I have no idea what they're going to do, honestly. We'll just have to wait and see, and just see what moves up, what moves down, and take it from there. I mean, it depends, Paul. It depends how strong they are and how competitive the niche is. The site I showed earlier. Come on. This Delaware SEO site, I think we ranked with like 2 links, something like that, 2 network sites. So I mean, it really depends on competition and how strong your network is. Because I don't think those links were even that strong, or that strong of sites. I wouldn't say on a regular basis. I don't even really do anything for Calcast anymore. That was more just like an example site. I think it still makes, I don't know, maybe a few hundred a day, 500 a day, something like that. I really don't even know. I don't check on the income or anything. I got a partner that checks that stuff. But no, I mean I haven't really touched that site in months. So from Brian. I'm not sure. I'm not an Amazon expert, so I don't want to try to answer that when I don't know the answer. I would ask that in the Facebook group. From Pete. No problem, Pete. From Paul. I don't know what you mean by that. Don't know what you mean by it shows AdWord. Pete. Yeah, pretty deep mud, Pete. You can try disavowing everything, but I usually don't even mess with that. It can take so long and take so much time. It's that to me, it's not worth it. From Josh. I keep a Excel of every link I build. Now I write down what site it went to, um, the anchor text I used, the PBN I used, the date I did it, and the ranking of that keyword before I put the link in, so I can kind of track everything. and I group like my URLs together, like so everything for KLKS is in the same section. And then I can just look, all the links to KLKS and what blog network sites they went from, the anchor text I used, all that stuff. From Michael. I haven't messed with that too much, Michael. So I can't give you a definite answer, but I would say too many of them probably would hurt you. That would be my guess. I don't know that for sure though. But I would say like a couple probably wouldn't hurt you. That's just my guess. Again, I haven't like tried to do it, so. You're saying it says 0 searches in the Google Keyword Plan or whatever, or the Google Keyword Tool. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's 0 people searching it. I know people who've made a lot of money off 0 search sites. It probably just gets very little searches, but it doesn't mean it can't make you money. So, from Tom. I mean, usually you should see something within a few days, Tom, a week at the most. You should see some kind of movement. So usually I don't have to wait for weeks. From Rich. From my phone and my computer, I do notice a little different results sometimes, Rich. But for browsers, I always use Chrome Incognito. So if you right-click on Chrome and choose a new Incognito window, that will give you the most accurate searches. You'll see the little guy up here with his glasses on. And I always search through here. Anytime I'm doing a search, usually. Yeah, Josh, one giant spreadsheet, that's right. I mean, that's just the way I do it. I kind of have my sites grouped a certain way where I know where they are. Or you can just do a search. And if you have a lot of sites you link to, you can search for that money site, and it'll bring up that section of the spreadsheet. I probably could do it a better way, like have a spreadsheet for each site, but one big spreadsheet works for me. From Nancy. The site has been de-indexed, Nancy. You go to Google, and you type in site, and if it is indexed, it will show something. Okay, so like if we search for NashvilleSEO.org, you don't put the HTTP in here or anything, you'll see something from the site. Okay, there will be some results. These are all results from our site. If it's not indexed, there will be nothing there. So if we just do a whole bunch of random letters.com, it'll say this, nothing there. It's not match any documents. That means the site is not indexed in Google. From Michael. Yeah, no doubt about it. Not even like my main strategy. I wouldn't say like my only strategy, but I mean that's pretty much all I use because it's all I need. In 99% of the time. From Tom. Yeah, I mean, yeah, however you want to keep track. People like different things. I have that in the members area, I believe, MA. But again, I just have a spreadsheet, And column A is the site that I'm linking to, or the URL I'm linking to. Column B is the anchor text. Column C is the date I placed it. Column D is the PBN I'm linking from. Column E is usually like the search term I'm targeting and the ranking of it, before the link. And then maybe like site F or section F is like a notes section, if I have any notes. Like maybe I use PBN reloaded on this post, or for this post or I added in the link to existing content instead of creating a new post. And I'll put in little notes like that just to see if anything like that changes, like where maybe all these links I'm going in and changing, maybe all of those, something happens to all those rankings, and I'll say, well, so now I know that going in and adding links into a site or changing links has some type of effect, which it doesn't, because I've been doing it a while and I track that type of stuff. So any notes I have, or if I'm using PBN Reloaded, if I'm using maybe like a general article, or any type of testing I'm doing, I'll just write in the notes section. From Michael. Yeah, I mean, if you're out of PBNs, you'd probably want to pick some more up. From Rich. I don't even really use in-URL anymore. It used to be really helpful. You used to be able to use in-URL and then sitename.com. And if your site didn't appear first in this list, it was pretty much definitely penalized. But now that's changed, where it's not really reliable anymore. So I didn't even really use in-URL for anything. Usually, the only thing I use is site, just to see if it's a site something's indexed. So I'm checking indexing. So that's pretty much the only one I really use. From Michael. I mean, not necessarily a minimum. It's more about the link quality. Now, you can have a domain authority of, in the high teens and still be a pretty good site. But the lower you go, the less quality they're going to be for the most part. I say for the most part because you can have a domain authority 20 site be better than a domain authority 50 site, because the 50 could be just spammed. But I mean, I set my limit around the 20 range just because I'm usually even 25, because I'm looking for stronger sites. I can afford them. But for people who are on a budget, I mean, there's no problem going in the high teens. You can find pretty good sites for that for cheap. So it's more about the links. The main authority is more like just like a gauging factor that helps you to kind of filter. From Josh. Nah, there's no problem with that as long as you're not changing like the keyword density a ton. Maybe if you mention the keyword you're trying to rank for like 4 or 5 times, then you end up mentioning like 20 times, that can make a difference. Or if you mention it like 10 times in the content and it's ranking good, and you bring that down to like you only mention it 1 time, that could make a difference. So I would just try to keep like the keyword density around the same for your main keywords. try to mention like the keywords about the same amount of times. But other than that, changing the content, you should be fine. From Tom. A keyword, Tom. So, for my spreadsheet, like if I'm building a link to KLKS, and I build it to the e-cigarette brands page, and I'm trying to rank for best electronic cigarette. I'll note where best electronic cigarette ranks for that URL I'm targeting before I place the link. So maybe it's at number 7. I place the link, and then a week later I check, and I can say, okay, well, I did this link. It was number 7 right before I did the link. I did the link, and it moved up to number 4. Okay, well, what's my anchor text percentage? What PBN did it come from? I know that PBN is pretty strong. And I can just use that to kind of figure out what's going on. And just one question here, so I'm not gonna take a screenshot. Okay, well there's 2 now, so I'll take a screenshot. I was going to read it, but from Michael, I believe it has 7 PBNs going to it, Michael. I think 7. I'm pretty sure. I can check the exact number, but I believe it's 7. From Tom. I don't know what you mean by the search term. I mean, when I do my thing, I just make sure I know what keyword I'm targeting and where that keyword ranks before I place the link. That's all you need to know. Just so I can see what type of movement I get from certain anchor text, or how certain anchor text affects movement for whatever keywords I'm targeting. So let's do this. We only have like one more question. I'll let questions roll in for another minute, and then I'll cover those questions, then we'll get wrapped up here. So I'm just going to pause the recording for a minute, and then we'll go through these final questions. Alright, so we got the last questions that came in. My computer going to freeze on me now? There we go. Not necessarily, Michael. I would say they're medium. Average strength is like medium. Not super strong. I have the EMD, so that's helping, and then I know how to do anchor text for an EMD, which is how I showed you guys. You kind of start with like longer tail variations, like for Nashville SEO. Since I got NashvilleSEO.org, I got Nashville SEO in my domain name, so I might start with something like best Nashville search engine optimization company. Okay, what I'm doing is I got one keyword of the domain name in there, then I have a variation of the second keyword, and then I also have 2 other words in there. Alright, so then I might do something like Nashville search engine optimization service, something like that. Now I just have one less word in here. Then I also replace SEO with with the variation. Then I might move a little closer and go to like Nashville Tennessee SEO companies. Okay. Now I have both words of my domain name in here, but I also have two other words mixed in. Okay, so I'm starting to move a little closer towards my domain name keyword. And then I might move towards like Nashville SEO firms. Now I have both in there in sequential order with just one word after it. I always see how it moves after I do it. And then I'm going to move a little, I'm going to kind of do the same thing again usually. Nashville SEO, maybe this time just company. Whatever gets like the most searches I usually do. And I'll see how it moves from there. And then eventually, now I might hit Nashville SEO dead on. Or maybe like I'll do Nashville search engine optimization. So I'm like doing the domain keyword, but I'm just replacing this with the long tail of it, or the spelled out version. And then I might go to exact, Nashville SEO. So as you can see, I build closer and closer and closer towards my domain keyword, and that's how I usually do EMDs to start. I kind of keep it safe, see how they react, and I move closer and closer. That's exactly what I did for this domain. You're welcome, Rich. No problem. Yeah, I am using Spider Spanker. So anything that's blocking, you won't see, obviously. From Tom. This is the question I was talking about. I know I talk about in training where I like to link to inner pages, but that video was more when Magic was still being used to link to money sites. Now that we're using PBNs pretty much predominantly to link to money sites, you're fine linking to the home page, more than we used to, even totally. Now I just link to whatever I'm trying to rank. So, a site like Nashville SEO, I'm pretty much targeting the home page for everything. We started a page on web design, so I am targeting an inner page for web design now. But when you have like such a small site like that that's about one specific topic, like the Weight Loss Centers Orlando, there's not really too many other pages topics you can do on that because of the domain name. It's a domain name about a specific topic, which it wouldn't make much sense to go too far outside of that. So all those links are pretty much going to be going to the home page. And with the PBN, that's fine because they're strong links, they're healthy links. You control the anchor text. If anything gets messed up, you can just go take down the links or change the anchor text. So you're totally fine going all to the home page from a network, Tom. The inner page thing was more like when Magic was in play, so we could like kind of protect the main, the main domain. But you're fine going pretty much 100% to the home page if you want to. From Michael, you're welcome, Josh. From Michael. That just depends on what you're looking for, Michael. Some people like bigger sites. Some people like having variations. Having one big site is going to be less work. But if something happens to that one site, then everything's gone. But then a whole bunch of EMDs or sites for each city at least, it's going to be more work. But then you're I guess more protected because if one site gets hit, you still have the other one. So it just depends what you want to do. How many PBNs you need just depends on what you're trying to do. Start with one and you can get a lot done with one sometimes. I've ranked sites with just one PBN and that's all it needed. So there's not really like a specific limit that you need for a PBN. It just depends what you're trying to do. Very, very welcome, Tom. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this session, guys. I'll set the next one probably within the next few days or so. I'll probably do it before I go to Arizona for the Network Empire event, like right before I leave. Then I'll do one sometime when I get back. Alright? Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this webinar. I'll get the recording over to David, and I will see you guys on the next one. Talk to you all soon.